You ever look at a painting and just think, that's nice, but is it millions of dollars nice? I mean, it is a wild world out there, right, where a single canvas can sell for more than a private jet? Well, today, we're going to pull back that curtain on the multi-million-dollar art market. We're going to figure out exactly how a piece of art gets that astronomical price tag.
Okay, just look at this number, $300 million. That is what Willem de Kooning's painting Interchange sold for back in 2015. It's almost impossible to even wrap your head around that kind of value for one single object.
And believe me, that was not a one-off thing. Just a few years before that, Paul Cézanne's The Card Players got snatched up for a cool $259 million.
And hey, if you're thinking, oh, that's just for the old masters, think again. Jean-Michel Basquiat's Untitled Skull painting, it sold for over $110 million. So this isn't just about ancient history, it is happening right now.
So you gotta ask, right? How is that even possible? Is it all just hype? Is it pure genius? Or is there some kind of formula? Well, it turns out there kind of is a code, and in this explainer, we are going to crack it together.
So, where do these insane, nine-figure prices even come from? Well, it's not magic. It's not just a number pulled out of thin air. Appraisers and auction houses actually follow a really clear set of criteria to build a valuation from the ground up.
And here they are. It really boils down to 6 key factors, and you can kind of group them into 3 main buckets. First, you've got everything about the artist and the context of their work. Then you've got the physical object itself, its condition, its size, and its documented history, which is called provenance. And finally, you have the big external force, the market.
And this is where it gets really interesting, right? It's all about supply and demand. If you have a super prolific artist, somebody like Picasso, the value is driven by their global fame. But for an artist who created very little, the intense scarcity of their work can make every single piece incredibly valuable. It's a classic battle between fame and rarity.
And of course, the physical state of the art is absolutely critical. I mean, you could have a certified masterpiece, but if it's damaged, its value just plummets. In fact, a professional restoration can boost a piece's value by as much as 20%. But on the flip side, something like water damage or even just fading, that can be catastrophic. Just think about that Monet painting that was vandalized in Dublin. Its value was shattered in an instant.
And yeah, sometimes size really does matter. Now, it's not a universal rule, but these larger, more monumental works often carry a much higher valuation. Take Rembrandt's The Night's Watch. It's enormous, over 11 by 14 feet. The incredible ambition and sheer difficulty of creating something on that scale adds directly to its value.
But you know, out of all those factors, there's one that experts will tell you is probably the most important of all, and it has nothing to do with the paint or the canvas. It's all about the artwork's history.
And that history has a name. It's called provenance. It is the documented journey of an artwork from the day it left the artist's studio all the way to today. Honestly, the easiest way to think about it is like the title and the service history for a classic car. It proves who's owned it, where it's been, and most importantly, that it's the real deal.
Let me give you a perfect real-world example. So, there was this pair of incredibly rare 19th century Chinese stools made from a wood that's now threatened. Now, to even get them considered for auction in a top house like Sotheby's, the owner had to provide the paper trail. They had documents proving the stools were in a private collection back in the 40s, and even that they were displayed in a New York museum. Without that proof, Sotheby's might have just turned them away.
And that just hammers the point home, right? An authentic masterpiece without the paperwork to back it up can see its financial value just completely evaporate. An auction house might not even be willing to take a chance on it. At the end of the day, in the high-stakes art world, provenance is everything.
Okay, so we've cracked the code on value, but let's get practical. What if you own a valuable piece and you need some cash, but you really don't want to sell a family treasure? Well, this is where the world of art finance comes into play. Let's look at one way you can do it, using art for a short-term loan. One of the most direct ways is pawning. Instead of selling your art, you're using it as collateral to secure a loan. It's fast, is discreet, and because the loan is secured by the art itself, it usually doesn't require all those credit checks. You get the cash you need without having to say goodbye to your artwork forever.
And the whole process is surprisingly simple. First, it starts with a professional valuation, using all the criteria we just talked about. Based on that value, you'll get a loan offer. If you accept, your artwork is kept in a super secure, climate-controlled facility for the whole loan period. And then once you've repaid the loan, the piece is returned safely back to you.
All right. So whether you're thinking about selling, maybe getting a loan, or even if you just want to be a good caretaker of a family heirloom, protecting your art is the same thing as protecting its value. So how do you actually do that?
Here are 4 key takeaways to protect your art's value. The first 3 are all about preservation. Rule 1, keep every single document. That's your priceless provenance. Rule 2, control the environment. Keep it at a stable temperature and humidity. And Rule 3, and I can't stress this enough, never try to clean it yourself besides maybe a very light dusting. And finally, if you do decide to sell or get a loan, protect yourself financially. Always, always get multiple quotes to make sure you're getting fair market value.
So, the next time you see a headline about some record-breaking auction, you'll know the code behind the price. And who knows, that old painting that's been in your family for generations, could it be a hidden treasure? Now you have the tools to start finding out.